Indigenous Non-G 1999 welcomes you. Shout at the Devil is the second studio album by American heavy metal band Motley Crue, released on September 23, 1983. It was the band's breakthrough album, establishing Motley Crue as one of the top-selling heavy metal acts of the 1980s. The singles Looks That Kill and Too Young to Fall in Love were moderate hits for the band. Shout at the Devil was Motley Crue's breakthrough success, selling 200,000 copies in its first 2 weeks. The album's title and the band's use of a pentagram caused a great deal of controversy upon its 1983 release, as Christian and conservative groups claimed the band was encouraging their listeners to worship Satan. The pentagram was something Nikki Sixx brought with him from Sister, a very theatrical band he had been a member of, along with future Wasp vocalist Blackie Lawless in the late 1970s prior to the formation of Motley Crue. Sister fused occult symbolism such as the pentagram into a theatrical heavy metal show incorporating blood and facial makeup. Sixx asked Lawless for permission to use some of Sister's occult-related imagery for Shout at the Devil, as at that point Lawless was intent on moving in a different direction. I said take whatever you want because at that point I realized that with an image like that you end up painting yourself in a corner and you can't get out, said Lawless. Just prior to returning home to Los Angeles to begin recording the album, Motley Crue was famously kicked off their support spot on Kiss Creatures of the Night tour. The bands played only 5 shows together before Gene Simmons demanded they be replaced, citing their bad behavior. During recording, bassist Sixx was involved in a serious car crash after drunkenly stealing a friend's Porsche in Los Angeles. At around the same time, actress and friend Demi Moore told Sixx he needed Alcoholics Anonymous, though Sixx dismissed her concerns. Sixx badly injured his shoulder in the crash and was prescribed Percocet, a combination of acetaminophen and the powerful opioid oxycodone which was commonly prescribed to treat severe short-term pain. Sixx's use of Percocet transitioned directly to a crippling addiction to heroin which would cost him $3,500 a day and almost claim his life later in the decade. As the band toured with Ozzy Osbourne in support of Shout at the Devil, they discussed replacing guitarist Mick Mars. Mars was several years older than the other members of the band, and his bandmates were eager to add a more technically proficient guitarist in the vein of Yngwie Malmsteen. Bob Daly, Osbourne's bassist, was present during the tour bus discussion and told the band do not try to fix something that isn't broken when asked for his opinion. Daly has said the band was serious at that time about replacing the guitarist. They didn't have the balls, Mars said when asked about the prospect of being replaced. But one day at rehearsal they said Jake Ely would look good right here. Mars said I'm the guitar player in the band. Nobody else needs to be there. As the tour continued the band was invited to take part in the 1984 Monsters of Rock festival supporting headliners Van Halen and AC/DC. Guitarist Eddie Van Halen was bitten by Vince Neil during a dinner with drummer Tommy Lee also biting Malcolm Young at some point. Van Halen and Young were both reportedly furious over this behavior. Lee also became involved in a fistfight with David Lee Roth which saw Motley Crue expelled from their hotel. AC/DC and Van Halen both subsequently demanded Motley Crue be removed from the bill but the band's popularity at that time made such a move difficult. The promoter came up with an unusual solution. Motley Crue would enter their trailer immediately upon arrival at the concert venue and a large crane would then lift the trailer several meters off the ground to prevent the band members from leaving and causing trouble prior to their performance. They would also be required to leave the concert venue immediately following their performance. You apologized every day, said manager Doc McGee of Motley Crue's behavior during this period which eventually resulted in him having to pay a $15,000 deposit before any hotel would allow the band to stay. McGee also established a rule in which each band member would submit to him a list of everything they had destroyed in a hotel before he'd allow them to check out. It was an article published in the June 1984 issue of Hit Parader magazine that brought the band's shocking antics to national attention for the first time. Andy Setcher, the magazine's editor, traveled to Mexico for an interview with the band and was shocked to find this young woman spread eagle on the bed, naked, and they're going at her. Though Setcher had to heavily sanitize the story before it could be printed, the depiction of the band's behavior nonetheless shocked America and created a firestorm of controversy which saw some retailers threaten to remove the magazine from its shelves. The magazine not only survived but soon saw its readership increase dramatically, with Setcher saying we happened to hit perfectly with Motley Crue. That June issue was on the stands in April, just when Shout at the Devil was peaking. Looks That Kill was a moderate hit for the band and played a large role in exposing the band to a wider audience. The music video produced for the song was shot over the course of an 18-hour day on the main sound stage at A&M Records in Los Angeles. Model Wendy Berry, who portrayed the warrior princess in the Looks That Kill music video, has said her experience with the band was very positive, describing Motley Crue as all very nice, really down-to-earth and fun, in stark contrast with their growing reputation for depravity. While Berry acknowledges the music video generated a stir, she later said of it, "I personally thought it was just a well-executed video as far as production, and the song was killer." A year later, Berry would appear again with Sixx and Lee in the music video for Rat's Back for More. The song Bastard was targeted by Tipper Gore, who was behind the move to have warning labels placed on albums with lyrics or other content they found disturbing. According to Mick Mars, the song wasn't a call to violence, but rather was about a certain person that we used to work with that we felt we were stabbed in the back by. Knock 'em Dead Kid was inspired by a violent encounter between Sixx and a group of Hell's Angels. Sixx somehow wound up in a fight with a group of bikers, even hitting one member in the face with a chain he had been wearing as a belt. The Hell's Angels turned out to be undercover cops, and the bassist was subsequently badly beaten and jailed, resulting in a black eye and broken cheekbone. After being released from jail, he was inspired to write a song about the ordeal. The album also features a cover of the Beatles' 1968 song Helter Skelter, a song that allegedly inspired cult leader Charles Manson. Sixx was not a Beatles fan, referring to the band as wimpy, but he lists Helter Skelter and the White Album among his favorites of all time. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for similar content. Rock on!